Hello and welcome to episode 8 of Titan Talk. I'm Patrick McCormack, joined by the Holy Trinity varsity boys lacrosse team led by head coach Scott Miller and student athletes Brian Holder, Jack Bamonte, and George Neofitos. Guys, thanks for coming on.
Thank you.
Scott, we'll start with you. What have these three seniors meant to the Holy Trinity lacrosse program?
Well, a lot, and a lot since the short time I've been there. I took over the program last year. We did a lot of work. We had a lot of off-season conditioning. Jack was there for a lot of it. He helped us out a lot. Brian and George were three-sport athletes at Trinity. So, of course, these practices and conditionings were volunteer. They were very helpful when they came into the season, and they came when they could. We had an off-season schedule back in the winter season. Winter we called polar bear lacrosse, and they were able to help us out a lot and let us see what type of personnel we have coming into Holy Trinity.
And to the student athletes, you guys are getting ready for the year. I'm sure you're really excited. Your last year playing with Trinity. What was it like hearing that the season was postponed? And we'll start with Jack on that one.
I mean, it was pretty shocking just to take it all in, to know that just your final season, your final months of school, just to be shut down and not be there anymore, and just have the season go away.
Brian?
Yeah, definitely. When it first happened, we didn't really know what was going on, and then as we slowly learned more about how long and why it would be canceled, it really started to set in, how much we were losing and had to deal with.
And George?
Yeah, same thing they said. It was pretty shocking. Once we saw what started happening, with the coronavirus and all that, we kind of expected it a little bit, but it was still, it kind of showed us that everything was going to go away.
You guys weren't able to practice as a team, but was there anything you guys started doing on your own just to stay ready for the year if that were to happen, Brian?
Well, I had just been coming off of wrestling, so I knew I was in good shape, but I started working on stick skills in the backyard and just trying to get ready to move into the season, and then I'm still doing that now.
And George?
Yeah, me and Brian wrestled together, so I was already somewhat in shape, so I just started working on the wall with wall ball and all that.
And Jack?
I've just been doing face-off reps in my basement or outside, and then just trying to get on the wall anytime possible, just to get the stick back in my hand, just in case.
Very nice. And this time has been an adjustment for all of us, and I'm working from home, and you guys are doing schoolwork on the computer and online. How's that been going? How have online classes been for you guys? And we'll start with George.
It hasn't been too bad. I mean, for the most part, it's just the classes have been fine. We haven't really been getting that much work that's it's a hassle for us, but it's been pretty good so far.
And Brian?
Yeah, the teachers have stayed very accessible because we're all in this together, and the workload has been manageable. We've been doing all right.
And Jack?
I'm gonna have to agree with Brian. The workload is a lot more manageable since you're at home, you have a lot more time to do it, and teachers are always there for you whenever you need them. Just always give them an email. They've been very helpful.
I mean, this has probably been a difficult time. You're probably looking forward to your last year at Holy Trinity, playing in your last lacrosse season, finishing out your final high school classes. But is there something you've learned from this process? And we'll start with Brian.
Well, it just shows everyone always tells you to play like it's the last game and all that, and until something like this happens, you don't really see how true that statement is, because it could be your last time and you never know. It just shows how finite seasons are. Even though you have a senior season, some things are out of your control. Just gotta be ready for it.
Jack?
Yeah, honestly, same with Brian. It's just crazy. You're mentally preparing yourself, just getting ready, and then just out of nowhere, anything can happen and just end it. So it's just crazy.
And George?
Yeah, I mean, for me and Brian, we played past sports, and with football and wrestling, we kind of knew our last game and our last match, that was it. So it's kind of same thing.
For some of the underclassmen on your team or people coming up through middle school, the Holy Trinity, what advice would you tell them for playing high school sports? And we'll start with George on this one.
you just kind of got to manage both with sports and school. You have to get all your work done, be disciplined in the sport. That's about it.
And Jack?
Yeah. Just always just make sure you're always on top of your schoolwork, because, if you don't stay on top of your schoolwork, then you could possibly not play sports at high school level.
And Brian?
Definitely to stay on top of schoolwork, because that's the most important, but also, like, it's the work you do when no one's watching, and, like, the work you do on your own pays off a lot once you're together as a team working hard.
And you guys obviously wanted to make good memories this year, but do you have a favorite moment during your career at Holy Trinity? It could be on the lacrosse field, maybe playing another sport, or in the classroom or at another club, and we'll start with Jack with this one.
My favorite memory was 2017 when me and Brian, we were playing varsity and for our freshman year, and we won the state championship.
Very nice. And George?
Last year we hosted the state wrestling tournament, and it was the first time that I had actually made it to the tournament. So it was just pretty cool to, like, see all of that happening in our school.
And Brian?
I think I'd have to agree with Jack on the two freshmen winning the championship with lacrosse on varsity. That was a big moment. It started his lacrosse career well, and it was just a fun team.
That's great. I'd like to thank Coach Scott, Jack, Brian, and George for joining me today on Titan Talk, and see you next time. Good luck, guys, in the future.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Pat, for doing this. Take care, guys.